Hello, this is Nicole with Angelic Therapy and Healing, bringing you a general reading for the week of Monday, May 1st. I cannot believe that May is here already, through Sunday, May 7th. This is a reading for a large audience, and although when I pray and prepare, I ask that you all receive at least one message, it is for a large number of people. So, you may find some messages don't apply for you, but just go with whatever your intuition is telling you. If it sounds like your situation, then that would mean it's probably a message for you. Now, as far as scheduling a private reading or healing session with me, at this point, I've not opened up my calendar for new clients yet. I am booked a solid month out with current clients at this time, but stay tuned. Hopefully in the near future, I will be opening that up to start bringing on some new clients, and I will announce it in the readings so that everyone knows. So just stay tuned. Hopefully it should be in the very near future. For those of you that are new to the channel, welcome. Glad to have you here. For everyone that subscribes to the channel, thank you so much. We are almost at 9,000 subscribers, so that's remarkable. Thank you for all of your support, and thank you for joining us. So let's go ahead and see what's going to be in store for everyone this week. I am going to be pulling cards today for those that are interested from John Holland's Psychic Tarot and the Energy Oracle cards by Sandra Ann Taylor, Doreen Virtue's Archangel Power Tarot, and also her Archangel Michael Oracle deck. And then I have my Sibila's and the Gilded Lenormands shuffled if we need those for clarifiers as well. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. Now, when I was shuffling these two cards popped out. So those will be the first two that you guys get. We're going to do 3 different situations today. And I'll give you guys the details of what each of the cards are when we get going. Okay. And if you guys can't see those, don't worry, we'll adjust the camera here in a moment, because it is going to be a pretty big spread today. Oh. And one more. Oh. Hopefully the dogs will be quiet today. We can hope that happens. One of them's napping, the other one's playing, but hopefully they don't get too out of control for us today. Okay, let me make sure you guys can all see that. Oh, that's perfect. Okay, let's see here. So what we have is we have 1, 2, 3 situations. This first row, I mean, typically they have a situation, but they're saying this week is this first row is the past, recent past. This is the situation. This is something that you're unaware of or something that you need to know. And then these last 2 cards are things that they recommend that you do. Okay. So let's go ahead and start with situation 1. So you have, and this is the one when I was shuffling, these 2 cards fell out together. So you have, actually, let's just hold them up one at a time. So the first card that you have, this is Firm Foundation. If you can see, he's standing there. He has a mountain behind him. This is, in typical tarot, this would be pentacles, coins. And this is a card that talks about, establishing a firm foundation, particularly with finances in the material world. It also talks about, you see how he's got the mountain behind him? Mountains signify, challenges, difficult things to overcome. So it also speaks about using good judgment and learning the lessons, heeding those lessons from the past in order to build a firm foundation for the future, in order to be able to move forward. Now, in the traditional tarot, this card is, I think he's like figured, I think he's in a cloak. But he's a lone figure, just like in this card here, he's by himself. And in the traditional tarot, he's also by himself. And, he stands alone, he's cold, and in traditional tarot, he's also like holding a bunch of pentacles, a bunch of coins. And it talks about hoarding hoard, and you can hoard more than just money. You can hoard your time, your, of course, money, your love, your emotions. But what happens is when we hold those things to us and we hoard them and we don't share them, we lose sight of what really matters, because money isn't what matters. And what that happens is that tends to lead to a lonely life where we're isolated, we're by ourselves, we're unfulfilled. And they're saying for some, like in a state of sadness and discouragement. But also the flip side is we can give too much. You know, when we're in relationships, sometimes we will give everything that we have to that other person and we don't keep anything for ourselves. So it's the complete extreme. And that leaves us, same thing. We're depleted. We're left alone. Oftentimes this can lead us to a state where we are angered with that person. We can be like disgusted and frustrated also with them and ourselves for having given everything that we have to that other person. And it's definitely a love relationship. It's definitely, it's harmony in traditional tarot. This is the lovers. This talks about union, commitment, being in a relationship, a marriage. So what they're saying is for some of you, this is talking about the recent past. You were in a relationship. Some of you could have been marriage, but they're saying for most of you, it was like a marriage. So maybe you were living together, but you weren't married. But you had a shared foundation. For some of you were trying to build a foundation with this person. And so for some of you, they're saying that you gave everything that you had to this person. And you were left alone. For some of you, you're saying that person used you, kept you around to get everything, all the financial assistance that they could. But it ended. It's come to an end. They're saying it was a long time coming. So now you've been left alone. But the good news is that you've come to the point where you're doing a lot of reflection. You're really evaluating it. You're really trying to get to the truth of the situation. Because this is the truth card. Now, in the traditional tarot, this would be judgment. Because in the traditional tarot, you've got someone that's actually holding scales, but this figure is standing in the scales. And this talks about, getting the clarity that you need, having the truth revealed, receiving a wake-up call, like a big aha wake-up call that really rattles us, gets our attention, and finally gets us to look at the past, see it for what it is, see the truth, and be able to move forward, move on. And for many of you, this is your priority right now. This is what they're trying to have you focus on. So for some of you, they've taken away. Oftentimes, if we don't want to deal with emotions, we don't want to have to deal with, okay, this person that I love so much, I was trying to build a foundation with them. I found that it just came and crumbled. I don't think it's something that's going to come back together, even though I keep trying. I try to make it work, and every time it just falls apart. So I'm just going to throw myself into drinking or throw myself into drugs or throw myself into other relationships or being promiscuous or doing activities that aren't for my best because I don't want to deal with these emotions. I don't want to have to feel that. I don't want to have to face that. I don't want to have to accept that it's over. I also don't want to learn from it so that I can better myself and prepare myself for the future. So a number of you, you've had all those, I don't want to say options, but those running options, those avoidance tactics have been removed in order to make you face this, to really see the truth in it. Because it is significant. This is a major arcana. This is a major arcana. This is huge. This is a game changer. And for many of you, it is spiritually founded. You have the stars in the background. So it was a destined, it was a karmic thing. It was meant to fall apart. It was not meant to be. It was simply a lesson. But right now you're going through this time where you're really evaluating, you're really looking at things. And in the Major Arcana, there's like an angel that's blowing a horn. This also talks about answering the call. Being courageous to answer that call. Because sometimes we'll have a call. It can be a call for us to start doing something career-wise. It can be a call for us to, in this instance, learn that lesson, let go, and move on. But in order to answer the call, whatever the call is, it's typically something that's big. It's something that's difficult. It's something that requires us to be courageous, to be fearless, to embrace that, to fully step into that. And that's what's required of you right now with this situation. You are going to have to be brave. You are going to have to be courageous. You are going to have to realize that this is part of your destiny. This is a calling. This is something that was meant to fall apart, that was meant to not happen, but it was meant to teach you love, meant to actually, they're saying, propel you forward to better things. Now, as far as what you are not aware of or what they're needing you to know, you have adjacent possibilities. And this talks about, having various unconsidered options. Because oftentimes, if we are stuck in a relationship, and they're saying a number of you felt like you were stuck in this relationship, like you couldn't escape it. If we feel like we're stuck, it's often because it's out of habit, it's out of comfort. We may be miserable with that person, we may be miserable in that environment, we may be disheartened that we keep trying to climb that mountain, we keep trying to make it better, we keep trying to make it work, but it never works, but we keep going back to it because that's what we know. That's what we're used to. It's not healthy, it's not happy, it's not good for us, it's not good for them. It's all around bad for everyone. But we just keep returning to it because that's what we're used to. That's the norm. That's what we're comfortable with. But they're trying to get you to step out of what you're comfortable with, to step out of your norm. Because it's also a thing of insanity when we keep doing the same thing over and over and we keep getting the same results. Because they're saying for some of you, this has been a repeated karmic wheel that you've been on with this person. They've tried to repeatedly break you free of this person, but you've continued to go back to them over and over instead of sitting back, looking at the truth, realizing it was just a lesson and finally moving on. Continuing to do the same thing, it is insanity. They're trying to break you free of that wheel. Because it is insane. It's hurting you. It's hurting them. And for some of you, it's hurting the loved ones around you because it's creating emotional drama for the family. That just isn't necessary anymore. But you do have other opportunities. You do have other potential. And these other opportunities will bring you happiness, will bring you joy. See how bright and illuminated it is? And for some of you, they are opportunities that you're aware of, that you know about. For some, it's just you've not really seriously considered it. Or you thought, okay, that won't work. So for some of you, you're supposed to end this relationship with this person. You have a new potential love interest. But because there's fear and worries and doubt, you're like, okay, well, that's not going to work out. So I'll just stay in misery and also be spending a lot of time alone. Because they're saying a number of you, you haven't been living with this person. You haven't been with them. It's not been harmonious. It's not been happy. You've actually spent most of your time alone and isolated. So for some of you, you're fearful that this new love interest could turn into being the same thing. Could turn out to be the same thing. You see how you have all these doors open. Sometimes we have to slam one shut. You see back in this area, the card is dark and up here it's more illuminated. Sometimes when we're ending things with someone, we have to slam that door shut, put some Gorilla Glue on it, nail that thing closed, maybe put a sheet of metal across it, really make sure that does not come back open again. They're saying for some of you, you have got to do that because this is a karmic thing that is keeping you stuck. It's keeping you unhappy. It's keeping you isolated. They're saying for many of you in this situation, you want love, you want family, you want someone to share your life with, you want to have these things. Family's very, very important to you. It's something that you value, that you desire, but you are never going to get it here. It's time to close that door, leave that door closed, and open another door. And for some of you, you know, and you have this other potential door that's wide open and awaiting you at the end of the hallway. If you could just leave this door closed and walk forward, they're saying. Now, for some of you, there's legal matters tied with this person. So you're really having difficulty knowing, okay, how do I really get myself out of this? Because, okay, I've accepted, I've seen the truth that this is really bad, I really need to move on. But we share property, or we have shared investments. They're trying to give you some guidance, some information. So for some of you, you keep having reoccurring thoughts of, to maybe call this attorney or to call this financial advisor. They're trying to get you the help that you need. But you have to embrace that help, because that's what's going to help you break free of this. Now, as far as things that they're recommending that you do, you have 2 cards. You have Strength. This is just a major arcana. And at the bottom it says, strength and grace through kindness, self-confidence, and forgiveness. So for some of you, okay, well, for all of you in this situation, it is going to require strength, because you are breaking a cycle that you have been in for some of you many years. And for a number of you, it's not an easy thing to do. And for a number of you, you're lacking the confidence to do that. Because for some of you, this person has torn you down. Made you feel as though you are lesser than. You aren't worthy, you're a horrible wife, horrible husband, but they've been cruel. They've really been cruel. But it's kind of like a Jekyll and Hyde thing, because they're telling me that they teeter back and forth. Like, most of the time they're cruel and mean, but then all of a sudden they seem nice and warm and fuzzy, and they love puppy dogs and all these things. But that's simply to lure you back in, because they want something from you. They need something from you. And the moment that they get what they want, then they're mean and cruel again. But what that's done is that has really decreased your self-confidence. That's made you think, okay, well, this is as good as I'm going to get. But they tear you down and make you think that this is as good as you're going to get, because they don't want you to break free. Because they're relying on you. For many of you, they're relying on you for your money, for what you can financially bring them, the assistance that you can bring them. So this is a time to step back into your confidence. Have the courage, have the strength. And for some of you, you need to forgive, forget, and just let go and move on. Because for some, they're saying that you feel as though you have invested so much in this. You've spent so much time and money investing and trying to make it work with this person, that it's just stubborn pride, that you're like, come hell or high water, I put so much into this and it's going to work, but it's not going to work. You need to forgive, forget, and move on. That they've been trying to show you that for a very long time. And for some of you, need to forgive yourself. Because some of you are beating yourselves up, because you finally have come to the point that you're seeing the truth. You're seeing it for what it is, and you're like, dang, why did I do that? Why did I put up with that for so long? Why did I invest so much money and time with that person? And you're feeling foolish. But don't be. You were trying to do it from the right place. It just took you a little while to learn the lesson, to finally let go. But don't beat yourself up over it. And the last card we have is Make a Commitment. On the bottom, if you can read it, says, Archangel Michael, as the angel of courage and confidence, I call upon you to lend me your strength. Allow me to commit to myself, my life, and my divine purpose. Please clearly guide me so I can fully open my heart to every experience. And this is saying the same thing. Be confident. Be confident. Have those, because some of you, they're saying that you need to commit to yourself. You need to commit to making this change so that you can get the outcome that you desire, so you can get to the happiness, you can get to the light, you can get to the things that you want. But in order to do that, they're saying you're going to have to commit to making that change, making that decision, because they're saying some of you are wishy-washy. You go back to that person, everything falls apart, you're on the brink of, okay, finally ending it for good. Then they pull you back in, you're going to try to work it out again, and then you get back to the point where, okay, this is miserable, I need to end this. You're on a vicious cycle. You have to commit to finally calling it done. Finally ending it so you can finally move forward. And having confidence in yourself and having those conversations, because for some of you, you're fearful of even having that conversation with them, because for some of you, they're just downright mean. They are mean. They are spiteful. They are cruel. They cut below the belt. And you're kind of like, I don't even want to deal with them. I don't want to have that conversation, but you have to. You have to commit to yourself and know that you are worthy of having something better. You are worthy of sharing a relationship who truly is someone that loves you, admires you, respects you, where it is a requited love, where they're not just using you for their gain. Because you deserve that. And you're starting to remember that, but you have to commit to making those changes, having that conversation, taking that step, being courageous to move forward. And for some of you, it's something moving forward into the unknown, because for some of you, you have been stuck in this for years. For some of you, it could be over 10 years. It's been a very long time. A long time coming. Okay. So if you add these numbers up at the top, we've got 4, 6, 20, 24, and 11. That comes to 65. So let me see if I can reach my Doreen Virtue book real quick. Okay. So adding those up comes up to 65. If you ever notice, the angels will give us a lot of signs and numbers. So if you're sitting at a stoplight and you notice like 2 or 3 cards in front of you all have the exact same number, that number has a meaning. They're trying to tell you something. So you can go to Google and you can type in, angel number 22 meaning. You can also, Doreen Virtue has a book, it's called Angel Numbers, and that's what I'm looking up right now. But that's how they'll speak to you. They'll give you messages. So they were just telling me, total this up and tell you guys what it means. So 65. Congratulations on the positive changes you're making in your life right now. This is an excellent time to make changes at home, work, or within relationships. Follow your inner truth. It's beautiful. So you have to listen to that. Now, let's get some additional information on adjacent possibilities. And then we'll also get some clarifiers on strength and make a commitment. So there might be something else in there for you guys. Okay. Let's see here. So the interesting thing is you have the first card here. Which is talking about, this is someone that's a helper. She's got a basket filled with flowers, gifts. It's a good friend, someone that's reliable, someone that you can count on, someone that is trustworthy, dependable. They're also saying pure. She's holding a white linen. Pure. Found it on trust. And then we have the sacerdote. And this is, it's a priest that you're looking at. It's someone of faith. It can also sometimes talk about spiritual guidance. And then the last card you have is, the gift of precious stones. And it speaks of, you know, a gift, something that's given from a place of love. It's not selfish. It's very considerate. So, and again, this is a clarifier on something that you're unaware of or you need to know. And it's adjacent possibilities. So for some of you, you could be trying to make the decision of, do I move forward with someone else or do I stay alone? A lot of you have actually, even though you've been in a relationship, you've still been alone. So for some of you, it could be because it's constantly back and forth. They're on with you and then they're off with you and they're on with you and they're off with you. But they're saying for a number of you, you've been in this relationship, but you've been alone. And some of you are contemplating, okay, do I continue to stay alone? Because this has been a miserable time. But for others of you, you have someone else. And they're saying that you know who she is. Or it could be a guy. You guys can flip it. So for some of you, you had this relationship, it ended, you've been left alone. You have a new potential love interest. And it is a gift. She is a gift. The relationship would be a gift. But you've turned away from her. Instead of moving toward her and making the decision to go through that door, you've chosen to be alone. You pushed your way. Now for some of you, they're saying it's because you have secrets. Now in the old days, some of the priests, they would have secrets. He's cloaked in this big cloth like he's hiding. See how he's got it pulled up? It's like he's hiding something. So for some of you, you're fearful of sharing the truth with her. For some of you, you're afraid of opening up to your emotions. You've got the river there. Water always represents emotions. But they're saying some of you are fearful that if she finds out the truth, or if you're to share your emotions, some of you are afraid that if you share the truth, it won't work out. Some of you are fearful of opening yourself up to these emotions because when you've opened yourself up to the emotions in the past, it all came crumbling down. But this is a gift that can be counted on. Okay. You see how the gift is like alone? There's no one in here. The gift has been abandoned. Because, you know, as they were saying earlier, the possibilities for some of you, it's this other possibility, this other opportunity is something that you're not even considering. And some of you, you're not wanting to consider it because you're fearful of having to face face your emotions. Okay, so for some clarifiers real quick on that, we have the Vedevo. And if you guys can see that, it's the widower, it's the man who's alone, it's a man who is stuck to his past. He cannot get over his past. He keeps returning to that even though it's dead and over. And a man who's also like stuck in a very sad place. And then we have melancholy. And it's melancholia, melancholy, sadness, depression, loneliness. She too is looking at something that's dead and over. And then we have Morte, and this is the death card. And this can also speak of, you know, abandonment, excessive attachment to something. Completion of something, abandonment, finality, completion. So you know they were saying for some of you this is a cycle that you keep returning to. It came crashing down. You think it's over, she thinks it's over. But, I'm just going to have to hold him with this hand. Okay, so you both think it's over. It's been over, you're stuck to it, but she's going to try, or she has recently tried, to again lure you back in. But you have to end it. You have to finally put it to rest. And they're saying for some of you, they were saying earlier, take nails and glue and secure that door. For some of you, just need to burn that door, burn that house down. But you have to have the strength to do that. Okay. So, situation, okay. So Pentacles, which is this card. So for some of you, this could be an earth sign. So this card, it's Pentacles. Pentacles are earth signs, and those would be Taurus, Virgo, or Capricorn. So for some of you, this cycle, this person that you need, it could be an earth sign. Okay. So situation 2, the first card that we have is a major arcana. And it is Solitude. You see that she's sitting there with this book open. This is, in the traditional tarot, this would be the Hermit card. So this talks about, going inward to get the answers that we seek. Taking time to meditate, taking time to reflect, taking time to consider things. It's also a card of, like spiritual growth, spiritual awakening. In traditional tarot, he's like carrying this lamp and trying to lead the way. So for some of you in the recent past, you have pulled away. You've gone inward. You've been trying to find your way. Trying to figure out the truth, get insight, get wisdom, get the information that you are needing in order to move forward. But it's been difficult. You see how she's just kind of sad, looking down. Some of you are sad about the truth. Some of you, they're saying for some of you that the truth has made you blue, made you sad. Now the situation, it's interesting, we have 2 chakras that came up. The situation we have is the crown chakra. The crown chakra is, so essentially, for those of you that aren't familiar, chakras are the energy systems in your body. If you get something, energetically stuck in one of your chakras. So say, like down here we have the throat chakra. Say someone is needing to communicate with someone, share the truth, speak their truth. They will often have sore throats, or they might have strep throat or laryngitis, but they'll have throat issues because the energy is stuck there. Like sometimes if you're having relationship issues, you may have cramping. You'll have, stomach issues down there. And that's because your chakras truly are the energy systems for your body. They are all connected to various organs in your body, but they're also connected to various emotions and things in your body. Now the crown chakra it's at the top of your head. And it's the connection between earth and the divine. It's the connection to be able to get the spiritual insight, get the spiritual wisdom, get that information that you need, get the truth. A way that people can often balance this chakra, if they're feeling out of balance, they can wear like a purple color, meditate, do yoga. They can, go get a sound healing to balance your energies, an energy healing session. But it is your spiritual connection. That's interesting. Because the next card that we have, and this is the card that's talking about, something that you're unaware of, or something that you need to know. We have the card Hostilities. And you see he's standing here with his sword drawn. And this is a card that talks about, having our defenses up, being prepared and, ready to go and do battle. And sometimes this can talk about someone wanting to do battle with us wanting to do battle with someone else. It can speak of, maybe someone's been talking poorly about us, been backstabbing us, critical, hurting us. Maybe we've been doing that. But it's something that angers us, that has us wanting to fight to regain control. But to do that in like an aggressive manner. It's interesting because the last two cards don't speak of that. Because the last two cards are actually beautiful. So these last two cards that you have Page of Gabriel and spend more time outdoors. So Page of Gabriel at the top, it says energetic, brave, optimistic, playful. And at the bottom it says, follow your passion. You are ready for any challenge, opportunities for excitement, and adventures. And this really does talk about following your passion, doing those things that bring you joy. It also speaks of, taking a leap of faith, taking a chance, taking a risk, having the confidence to do that, the confidence to embrace life, being in a place of optimism. Knowing that, okay, this is what I want. I can make this happen. It's going to turn out beautifully. And being excited, like you can see here, he's holding his staff. It's illuminating. He's like, got this big grin on his face. He's standing with his confidence. He's ready to move forward. He's ready to embrace it. He's ready to take it on full speed ahead. And then we have spend more time outdoors. And there's a prayer at the bottom that says, thank you for motivating me to spend more time outdoors and for helping me relax and enjoy connecting with nature. So oftentimes if we're trying to get some guidance, so maybe we're, okay, I'm ready to take this leap of faith, but I need to know the small action steps. Like, what's my first thing that I'm supposed to do? If we're having trouble getting that guidance, if we do take a walk outdoors, you can even take a drive and you can ask, okay, angels, I need a sign. God, Jesus, angels, please give me a sign to let me know. Like maybe you're contemplating, do I apply for this job? Do I call this person? If I should do this, give me a physical sign. But if you spend time outdoors instead of, because when we're going through a time of being like a hermit, doing, a bunch of reflecting, a lot of times we'll just stay inside the house during that. But it makes it hard for us to get that guidance. So if you can go outside, you can get that guidance. You can get those action steps. It also helps reduce and relieve stress. So for some of you, you've been going through a spiritual awakening. For some of you, you have been sad about a relationship. They're saying for some of you, you've been sad about a relationship or a breakup where you feel that person has been hostile, aggressive. They've had their guard up, pushed you away. But they're saying it's because they needed to gain control of their emotions. But it's time for you to get outside. It's time for you to start doing things that make your heart sing again. It's time for you to start having fun, start having joy. For some of you, it's time for you to start moving forward. Because it's good for us to have time to reflect, think about things, evaluate things, but we can spend too much time in solitude, where it can actually start to hurt us. It can actually bring us down. It can put us in a state of depression. So maybe we have a relationship that falls apart, or maybe a job or something didn't come through, and we're spending time at home, or maybe some we're just going through a spiritual awakening, but we're spending time, we're trying to get guidance, we're trying to figure it out. What happened? Where do I go from here? And it's good because we have to take the time to do that. Especially if you have a relationship that falls apart. You don't want to just jump into another relationship. They say there's what the saying about the best way to get over someone is to get with someone else. That's not true because that keeps us from learning the lesson that we're supposed to learn, healing our heart, so we're ready to actually open up to true love when we meet the next person or the person that we're meant to be with. So if we haven't healed those things and haven't learned those lessons, we're not going to be ready for the person that we're meant to be with. So it is good when you've had things fall apart, and they're saying for a number of you it is love, because this is a pinkish color. It's supposed to be purple, but it's pink. So they're saying for a lot of you this is love. So you have this love fall apart, and it is good to go inward. Start reflecting. What are the things I can change? How can I make things better next time with the next person in the future? So that way you're healed, you're ready to move forward, but you have to step out of that at some point. You have to move forward and you're happy, even if you're moving forward alone. But for some of you, they're saying that you're worried the person's going to be mad with you. Doesn't make any sense. Okay. Now it's making some sense. So we have the dispute, Irce, Liber Union, and Militare. So, yeah. This first one is all about, worry, sadness, trouble, heartache. And then we have the reunion. And then militare, soldier, it can also be police. So they're saying for some of you, in the recent past, you had a relationship fall apart. Saying for some of you, and you can change the sexes for whatever's applicable to you, but they're saying for some of you, you pushed her away. She's been in a state of sadness. And even you've gone back. So she's been in a state of sadness, reflection, but you've also gone into a place of reflection. You've now determined that you do want to come together. You have realized, okay, she's the one that I do want to move forward with, but you need to devise a plan. Military members, they're very strategic. They come up with a plan. If that doesn't work, they come up with a B plan. If that doesn't work, they come up with a C plan. No matter what, they will be victorious. They will be successful because they have a bunch of action plans and they take those action steps fearlessly. And so some of you are going to have to fearlessly overcome your emotions to move forward and come together. And they're saying for some of you, you're fearful that if she does find the truth, she'll be very angry. See, he's got a knife, he's got a knife. She may stab you and tell you she's not interested. But it's going to be victorious. For some of you, one of you might be in the military. But they're actually saying for most of you, you just need to devise a plan. So for those of you in this situation, it was a divine love. Crown chakra is connected to the divine. This is a divine love. This is a destined love. This is a meant to be love. It fell apart. You both went to your own separate corners for reflection. Her reflection more sad. Your reflection was more to remove a wall, to open yourself up to these emotions. But now they're saying that you've come to the point where you need to devise a plan. You're fearful of devising a plan because you're fearful that she or he is going to be very hostile with you when you come in their direction. You try to bring this together. Try to come back into reunion, come back together. But what you're unaware of is that you'll come back together beautifully. There won't be any problems. It is something to be optimistic about and excited about. But you have to take action steps. You have to do something. You can't continue to sit in this place of solitude. And for most of you, on both sides, they're saying you're both stuck in a place of sadness, loneliness, isolation. You both need to break free of that. The only way you're going to do that is if you devise a plan and you do something. You have got to do something. And they're saying, don't be fearful. Because a number of you are just fearful it's not going to work. It's not going to happen. Pages are, they're very optimistic. New beginnings, fresh starts. This is going to be beautiful. It's going to work out. For some of you, you're still not trusting it. So if you need another sign, because they're saying for some of you, it's almost like they've had to beat you over the head with signs over and over and over, but you're still refusing to budge. Because you're like, oh, I'm still not sure. Oh, I really don't know. What if they hurt me like the last person? You know, that really left a mark. That burnt pretty bad. So if you do need them to hit you with another sign, go outside. Go for a drive. Start asking for some signs. Now, okay, they want me to add this up real quick. 26, 7. So we have 26, 7, 9, 42. Let me get my book. So for those of you in situation 2, numbers 42, the angels are urging you to keep the faith. So this is not going to be bad. A lot of you are so fearful that it's just going to be filled with a lot of hostility, anger. It's just going to be a bloodbath. It's not. It's not. But you have to face those fears and overcome it. You're going to have to do something. But when you do, it's going to be beautiful and worth it. Okay, so situation 3, last one. We have fulfillment of wishes, throat chakra, second chakra, the moon, and a favorable outcome. Now, this is a beautiful card. Traditional tarot, this would be, you know, cups. It's all about emotions. And it's, you know, one of the most, actually, I think it is the most positive of all the minor arcana cards. But it talks about emotional satisfaction, joy, bliss, contentment. It really does talk about all of our dreams and everything coming true. See, there's this pot of gold sitting there. Finally having everything that we've worked for coming to fruition. Happiness, success, love, health. Really having everything coming true for us. It's also talking about, see how there's a bunch of green in here? It's also talking about having recently, it's almost like she's holding a diploma. It's also talking about having recently healed past hurts, past memories, the things that have been holding us back, keeping us hostage, keeping us stuck, keeping us from moving forward into having our wishes fulfilled. So for a number of you for those of you in this situation, you have planted the seeds for your happiness, for your future. The seeds have been planted. And it will bring you emotional fulfillment and joy. For some of you, you've recently had to do the healing, and you have successfully completed that. They're saying you've graduated. You know, she's like holding a diploma. You know, oftentimes we'll go through experiences. They can be harsh. It can be a relationship. It can be an experience at work. But when we have finally learned that lesson, so like for people in situation 1, they've had this back and forth with this partner of theirs that's supposed to end. It's been this karmic cycle. They're simply supposed to learn something from that. Likely to love themselves again, stand up for themselves, have confidence, know that they deserve better. But we go through these experiences here to help us grow, to help us learn, to help us evolve. And a lot of you have had, but when we learn the lesson, it's like people in situation 1, learning the lesson is letting go, learning the lesson, you can move forward to beautiful things, having your wishes fulfilled. So for those of you in situation 3, they are commending you because you have learned your lessons. You've let go of things you were meant to let go of. You have healed the things that you were meant to heal. For some of you, you have laid the foundation for happiness. So for some of you, laid the foundation for work, career change, starting your own business, love. For many of you, it's love related. But you've planted the seeds. You're not there yet, but you've planted the seeds. You've done the preparation. You've done the work. And now it's time to start moving forward. Now the next card, and this is the card that talks about this current situation. We have another chakra card, and this is throat chakra. And this is the card, it's all about communication. And You know, if you have to say something, speak up, say something. Don't keep it stuck inside. So for most of you, this is love. This is love situation where you have to communicate with someone. It's going to change the dynamics between the two of you. 5, this is number 5. 5 is the number of change. But it's going to change things for the better. But you're going to have to speak up. It's in order to get these wishes fulfilled, you're going to have to speak up. You're going to have to communicate. And for a number of you in this situation, you may very well, earlier I was giving examples of how can you tell when you have a chakra blocked. If your throat chakra is blocked, you'll have sore throats often. You may have strep. You may have laryngitis. You may often find yourself coughing or clearing your throat, or maybe if you're starting to think about that person, and most of you, this is love. But maybe there's some of you need to have a conversation with your boss. Talk about a promotion. Talk about a pay increase. Maybe when you're thinking about that, I really should sit down and have this conversation, you start coughing, maybe you have a dry throat. That's your sign that, yes, it's time for you to speak that truth. It's time for you to have that conversation. That's what's holding you back. Now, the card of what we're unaware of or what we need to know something about. You have 36, second chakra, Archangel Ariel. And this is a card that speaks about intimacy, creativity. The second chakra, it's your sacral chakra. It's the chakra that's attached to our sexual pleasures. When it's attached to our organs, it's attached to our sexual organs. But it's the color orange. It governs, our creativity, comfort, intimacy, like our comfort with intimacy. Self-expression, allowing ourselves to be close and intimate with someone else. Opening ourselves to that emotional intimacy, allowing ourselves to connect with someone else on not just a sexual level, but an emotional level. So you see these waterfalls? Some of you have a love interest that you need to speak to. You need to let them know how you feel about them. So you planted the seeds with this person, but you haven't moved forward with this person. For some of you, you guys aren't even together. It's a love interest and you've gone your own separate ways. But the foundation was laid. That person is the fulfillment of your wishes. You've done a lot of heart healing. They've done a lot of heart healing. You're both ready to move forward. But what has kept you from doing that is because you will not allow yourself to feel the emotions. You will not allow yourself to truly, on a deep, intimate level, connect with them. You can have sex with anyone. Sex isn't a true connection. It's not a true intimate connection. It's not something that's going to create, it's not going to withstand, because it doesn't have the love. It doesn't have the emotions behind it. It doesn't have that true emotional connection. They're saying for some of you, you have to allow yourself to swan dive into these emotions and communicate those things, because that's what's going to move you forward. But some of you are doubting that. You're doubting that connection. They're saying for some of you, you think it's a connection that's just founded on sex. Because for some of you, the sex is pretty powerful. It's really good. Or it was really good. But you're fearful that that's all it is. Now, the interesting thing is, if this is a divine connection, if it's something of a twin flame, a twin soul, the sex is pretty amazing. Because of that connection, it's connected to chakras, you're each other's other half. It is very powerful, especially twin flames. That is something that does creation. You don't just create life, and that there where that chakra is, that's also, creating life, having actual children. So for some of you, because that sexual connection is so strong, you think, okay, well, maybe that's all that this is. Maybe I'm confusing that with actual love. But it's because you don't want to feel emotions. Or you haven't wanted to feel emotions, because they are saying, those of you in this situation, you've had to go through a lot of work to heal your hearts, to heal yourself, to prepare yourself. That's what you've recently done. You've recently earned that diploma of yours. You're ready to move forward. But there is more. There is a deeper, true connection. And it is for many of you, it is a divine connection. See, she's an angel. And she's holding the earth by her chakra. Now, as far as what they recommend, let's see. I'll pull them up a little bit. You have, first card, it's Major Arcana. It's the Moon, Archangel Haniel. At the bottom it says, the opportunity to improve your plans, listen to your intuition for accurate guidance, face your fears, and grow stronger. So, you know, the moon is all about intuition. See how it's all illuminated behind her? You know, sometimes we'll feel that things aren't right, or we'll feel that something's off, or we feel that, okay, this is really good, but I'm still doubting it. But the moon, our intuitive information, our intuitive nudges, the connection to the divine, the guidance that we get, the signs that we get, the synchronicities that we get, are all trying to guide us. So a number of you have been getting a lot of signs, a lot of synchronicity. Some of you are getting information in your dreams because they're trying to show you what it is that you're missing, what it is that you are not seeing with the situation. Because a lot of you are feeling very, very worried. You're doubting this. You're doubting this connection. You're fearful of, okay, well, if I do speak up, maybe I'll find that this wasn't built on a solid foundation. Or maybe I'll get hurt like I have in the past. Or, you know, last time I tried to open myself and feel my emotions, you know, I had something with someone before years ago, and I thought that it was really good, and maybe married them, and it all fell apart, and it was really ugly, but I had a very strong feeling in the beginning, and I don't want to go through that again because that hurt. So you have this fear. So they've had to work with you very hard to help you overcome that fear, grow from that, heal. Learn that lesson. Be prepared to move forward into what is going to fulfill you, is going to help your dreams come true, is a destined thing for you. But they're giving you all these signs. They're trying to help you know that there's not anything to worry about. It is going to turn out positive, which is the next card we're going to hit. That you need to face your fears. You need to overcome those fears. For a number of you, you do, obviously, you have to communicate, but she's all illuminated in blue. Even your dog's like illuminated in blue, and you've got water, but you're going to have to communicate those emotions. You're going to have to communicate how you feel with that person. You're going to have to communicate how you feel with yourself. Because they've been trying to shed light on this situation for you. They're trying to show you the truth of it. They're trying to show you that it is a good thing. It is a blessing. It is going to fulfill your wishes. It's going to change your life. Completely change your life. And for some of you, you know that it's going to change your life. So for some of you, you've been hesitating having those conversations because you're like, oh, crud, when I do that, my life as I know it is over. It's going to completely change. For some of you, you're like, I'm going to get married. I'm going to have kids. I'm going to have all these things. I've been all by myself for so many years, and it's just going to totally topsy-turvy, but it's going to topsy-turvy for the best. It's going to be favorable. Your wishes are going to be fulfilled. You're going to finally get that pot of gold that you've wanted. And they're saying for some, you're fearful like it's going to be restrictive, but it's going to be the most free feeling that you've had. But you have to trust those signs. You have to trust those synchronicities. You have to trust this information that they're giving you. You have to overcome those fears. And you have to trust that there is going to be a positive outcome. So card, favorable outcome. At the bottom it says, thank you for the beautiful outcome to the situation, which is perfect and fair for everyone involved. Thank you, Archangel Michael, for helping me trust and have faith. Check out the second chakra. Okay, so the first card you have is L'Amante, and this is the female lover. And they say that, like, this card typically, it's, you know, the female lover, she hides her fondness. She doesn't share that, but it's almost like she's patient. She's holding, it's almost like a pocket watch. patiently waiting. And then you have the Donna Maritata. And this is, you know, married woman, but it's the mother of the family. It's someone that's maternal, very caring, very giving, very nurturing. And then you have the merchants. It speaks of contracts, agreements, negotiations. Okay. So you know how they kept bringing up fears? A number of you have this love of a lifetime, this love interest that you have planted the seeds with. They are the key to fulfilling your dreams. Communications are going to have to happen. They're saying that you both feel the same for each other, but neither of you are communicating that. They're saying for some of you, she has actually communicated that, but you have not. But there is deep-rooted feelings, connection. For many of you, this is a divine connection. This could be twin flame, twin souls. This could be soulmates. But it's founded on something solid, something that's beautiful, something that can be trusted. It's funny, they're saying sacred. So, sacral chakra, they're saying this is, for many of you, this is a sacred connection. There is more to this than you realize. And for a lot of you, they're saying you do realize it. You've been getting a lot of the signs, but because you're so fearful, you haven't taken the steps forward. You haven't communicated because you're still so fearful that you're going to have to relive the misery that you've lived with someone else in the past. But you're not going to. Because this female lover, and you can swap the sexes. If this sounds like your situation, it's your situation. Go with it. But you have this female lover. She's very patient. She's very maternal. They're saying for some of you, you look at it like you would like to create a family with her. For some of you, you have. So for some of you, this is the mother of your children. For some of you, this is a person that when you look, you're like, okay, she has all the same values, same morals, same foundation as me. I would like to have a family with her. You're contemplating moving forward and having a contract with her. But again, there's this fear that keeps you stuck. Fear that, okay, well, I thought I could have that with someone else in the past, but it all came crumbling down. There was a lot of deception, a lot of deceit. She looked really good on paper in the past, and she gave me all these warm fuzzies, and then it turned sour quickly. So you're terrified that, okay, if I really put all my eggs in this basket again, is it going to all fall apart and be another train wreck? But it's not. What they're trying to say is the thing that you're not aware of is that this is what they're trying to guide you toward. And there will be a positive outcome. Your wishes, your dreams, your hopes will be fulfilled. Okay. Well, hopefully that... Oh. Okay. So this in traditional tarot, this is cups. And cups, you know, they speak of emotion, but when it speaks of astrology, it's water signs. And water signs are Scorpio, Cancer, Pisces. So for some of you, it could be that sign. But anyhow, hopefully this helped everyone. This is good. There's a lot of us that just need to overcome our fears. We need to step out. We need to start having fun, get some more signs. Hopefully you have the courage to do that, because there was one of these messages that sounds almost exactly like last week. I think it was one. So hopefully you'll have the courage to do these things that you're being guided to do and being encouraged to do, so that we do not have to hear the same message again next week. That'd be good. And Archangel Michael's saying ask for his help. Okay, Archangel, okay. For those of you that need to have the courage to have a difficult conversation, to end something with someone, for those of you that have to find the courage to have a difficult conversation or have the courage to embrace a major life change, ask Archangel Michael to give you that courage. Because Archangel Michael, he's all about strength and courage, and he walks around and wields this big sword, and he will help give you that courage. He will help you face these things fearlessly. Now, for those of you that are going to have a difficult conversation, maybe it's a difficult conversation to end things. It could be a difficult conversation to share the truth with someone. And maybe it's a truth that they're not initially going to, it could hurt them. For some, if it's, sharing the truth with yourself, have the courage to accept that and receive that information. And for some, if it's courage to have the conversation that's going to, change your life, you're going to move forward in a relationship that you're destined for. Ask Archangel Gabriel to help you with that conversation, because she's the angel of communications. So she will help provide you the words, help you through that conversation. Keep you from sputtering and having a difficult time in it. So just call on them and they will help you with that. So, and for those of you that need any more signs, ask them. They're always happy to give them to you, especially if you get outdoors. So I do hope this helps. I wish you all an amazing week. First week of May. I hope it's filled with a lot of love, joy, and blessings.